This is my burned BMW 335i. In the last episode, we rebuilt the blown engine from this car. This car was burned badly, but I believed that we can repair it, so I bought it. But after we replaced the quarter panel, we found out that the engine was blown, and buying this car was a huge mistake. This engine used to be in here, but we removed it after we found out that it's blown. So in the last video we fully rebuilt it from scratch, and now it's finally time to put this thing fully together and put it back in the car. These two are the turbos. I think that's gonna be the first thing that we will install back into the engine block. So remove the old gaskets. Then we actually have also these big gaskets here that go into here. And then in with the new one like this. And also I have these little plastic gasket O-ring thingies. A lot softer. O-ring. So now I'm adding oil into the oil system, but doesn't really want to go. So I add it as much as is possible before it starts leaking out to prime the turbos better. Holy shit! I did not expect it to be this heavy. So I changed my torque wrench. They gave me a new one, but another bad news. I broke my external hard disk where I had all the manuals, and I didn't have time to buy another one and download it again. So we don't really have any torque measurements. Oh well, we shouldn't need it too much now. This one we will put after. Now I want to put this little heat shield, as long as we still have space. Now, this is the water pump. It sits like that. Now, where do I have the bolts for it? Now I want to put on this pipe, so I need to remove the gasket. Here another gasket. I want to put the two little pipes in the middle. And then the bolts for the turbo as well. Now that's a big engine. I'll put on this hose. So there's also this heat shield kind of bracket. It goes, I guess, like that, I think. Never mind, wrong bolts. Okay. Now, injector number 1. I had marked which one is which. It seems that I mixed up somehow the injectors, so I'll need to take a picture, so we need to code them in. We forgot one thing when we was putting the valve cover on. It's these little thingies, so we can put them in now. Now we can put the spark plugs in. Now spark plugs 25 Newton meters. Now when we took it apart for the first time, I found that two coils were different. And also this tip had fallen off this one. So from the same guy that I picked up the engine, I picked up just two coils. Because I'm not going to replace them with brand new ones. and also the complete tensioner. So now this thing firstly, and the new one, I took all of the wheels, I took OE, and the belt we still have new from the old owner. I think this one has been replaced not so long ago. I don't have the torque for this thing currently. I haven't had the time to install the manuals again. I didn't get any cap with the new one. Am I supposed to have a cap? And then the brand new tensioner. Then it's time for the vibration damper. Now you need to figure out how the engine brackets go on. So now there is a bracket on the other side, but I'm not gonna put it on because I saw in the video that we removed it when the engine was still in, because it's like the AC bracket. I also bought the middle cats that we'll need to put it on to get it approved. Now when I removed the other cats from the car, it was super annoying because the bolts was like loose and there's very little place to go behind and hold the bolt, so just so you can tighten it. So that's why I basically took new bolts and I just welded them in place. Because from factory there is like these spline bolts, so that's why I welded these bolts on, and that's going to be a lot easier to just put a nut on and tighten it when it is on the car. So this one I'm guessing like this. This clamp was giving me problems, so I had to cut off and weld on a nut, because the other one was like getting stuck all the time. Now I put the clamp this way, so I think if we need, we can reach it with from downwards. Now I need to remove the lambdas. But the last thing now is the wire harness. Just need to start and try to put it back. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. Okay, remove. Now on with converter. I think that's in. Actually, first I will put the flywheel. So now the torque, firstly 30 and then 125. Now I will put the plug back, and now we can start putting the gearbox on. Seems like I got one bolt at least. It appears that the big bolts are torqued to 70 Newton meters. Then the M10 is like 42. And the smallest ones is 21. So now the torque converter is pretty deep in there. So I'm using magnets, 2 magnets inside a socket, so the ball doesn't fall out. And I put on some thread lock. Then torque converter is torqued to 55 Newton meters. The gearbox and torque converter is fully torqued. Now real quick, I'm just gonna put this whole gearbox cooler line in place. Now one more thing, I will remove the engine ground because this is the original one and you can see it's like already bad, or at least gonna be bad soon. I always do that when I'm this far into the build and stuff. I picked up another one. Good, then we're just gonna connect it to the chassis when the engine is in. And I think the last thing now, that is oil level sensor. The sensor I'm gonna keep. I just cleaned it up, but I did get a new gasket. Now one thing I did forget, the lambda sensor plug is pulled off. So we will need to fix that while it's in on the car. It's easy access anyway, so shouldn't be a big problem. Like that. I think that is it. So now I think the engine is ready to go in. Before we put it in, we need to tackle a few things here. By the way, I did pressure wash the engine bay. You guys remember how oily it was. It's a bit better, it's still not perfect, but I didn't want to make even more mess in the garage because I was pressure washing it inside. Now a common problem on the N54 engine is that the engine mounts go bad and then the engine shakes so much that the AC pump pulley hits the subframe or somewhere, or the chassis or something like that, and then it breaks. And I'm not sure if they're good or bad. So I picked up both engine mounts and the two little gearbox mounts. When I was ordering, they didn't have the same quality for the engine mounts for both sides. So I'm not really sure. For one engine mount I took Corteco together with the gearbox mounts, and for the other side there was only this one available. If I remember correctly, Conteco is actually original part, OE. I think that's what it said on FCP Euro. Then in with the mount. Then it's new engine mount. I realized that the two little gearbox mounts are on the gearbox, so I can change them out now. Perfect. One thing I forgot to swap out is the plastic that I broke. It goes all the way up here until here, but I did have the other one, so I'm just gonna swap it out real quick. Now I'm just gonna tighten down the engine mounts real quick. Okay, yeah, so now all the cables for the ECU is plugged in. I just wanted to get that done. Now I just want to put the steering column on. I also plugged in the fuel supply, just so I don't forget. Then I want to put on the exhaust. I have new gaskets as well. It's so much easier when I welded these things. Now this cable thingy, which I'm not sure how it goes. I put this one and one more bolt behind, the little bracket bolts, and then also the exhaust bolts. So now the exhaust fully in. And now I will put on the ground cable that we replaced up there, and it goes right here on the chassis. Now I think we are for now done under. By the way, this we'll need to fix. I forgot to order a new lambda sound, so I ordered a new O2 sensor, and I'll need to get a plug as well. But shouldn't be a problem to start it at least. Now I will try to put the AC compressor back in place. The AC pump, I mean. Now this AC bracket So now the AC compressor is in as well. Alternator, I think we will need to put later. I think the belt we will also put later. So then there's this long plastic bracket. Like this, I think it is. That's the radiator. Okay, so it slots into this from under. Now the whole radiator sandwich, I think, is together. Yep, nothing here as well. So I think now I will install the alternator, just so I can put the belt on, as we still have place, because there's not too much space after. I did clean it up. Bruh, I'm putting it in the wrong way. There we'll plug in the connector. Where is the belt though? I did not replace it, it's still the old one, because the old one got chewed up and then they replaced it, so it shouldn't be that old. So then lower down the gearbox cooler. I'm not sure how it goes on. I think I remember. What the heck? Never mind. I found two different diagrams on the internet. One is like that, and that's apparently wrong. It's supposed to be like this, so it's supposed to go over the middle pulley and then to the side. Makes sense, because it feels like it's too short. Yes, that explains it. Now it fits on perfectly. There are some small coolant lines that go to the radiator, and I think I need to put them in now, because if not, it's gonna be annoying to put back. That is also in now. Now we'll put one more coolant hose onto the gearbox cooler. I also have new O-rings for the intercooler charge pipes. This O-ring is the one that goes on this pipe straight to the turbos. Now I need to figure out how is the intercooler held in place. I don't remember. G Plus Performance. Ooh, that looks beefy. There is some paint flickering off. I think it's in pretty good condition otherwise. At least it seems like it. Now I do need to put on the charge pipe. Like that, it's in. Then put the clamp on. Good. Now this is the upgraded charge pipe. I forgot to clean it, so I will clean it real quick now. So now when we're talking about the oil cooler, the old oil cooler is probably full of shavings. Well, not probably, it most sincerely is. I have ordered another one, but I haven't got it yet, and I can't really wait to start this car. I need to hear it run. And I'm not gonna run it with the old one, the old oil cooler, because if I do, it's gonna send metal shavings from the old oil all across the system. Now I cleaned these hoses. They are old ones, but I did clean them as best as I could. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna loop them. I know, not ideal. I can't wait for this. Yeah, that's gonna do fine. Old cooler is here. Here's the connection line. And then the two lines go up from here to the thermostat housing to the oil filter. Okay, so now that's on. Now I want to reinstall the charge pipe that I cleaned. This whole thing. It's actually brand DIAL, made in USA. But first thing, replace the O-ring on the charge pipe. I actually think we need to install it after we remove the fan, because it was, I remember, a pain to remove the fan together with the thing on. So now I guess in with the fan. Now the gearbox cooler is held in place onto the fan shroud. So we need to put the bolt back. So now the charge pipe is supposed to go into this hole here. After we have put the manifold in, now I should have put this thing in. That is on now. I will put in the coolant reservoir. Then there is a sensor, I guess it's coolant level sensor. Then the two nuts. Then the last coolant hose. Then the one under. Then hold this line. This is a weird ass pipe. It doesn't seem original, I guess. Good. Now all the cooling is in place. We have good progress. I think at this point I will lower the car down a bit so it's easier for me to work on. Then we can tackle the intake manifold, because that's basically the last thing that is left. Or no, before that I need to install this. So now I also have new intake manifold gaskets. So now I'm pretty sure everything is plugged in, or if it's not, I know where it plugs in at. Now the air filter box. Ooh, that's dirty. Now just connect the positive terminal. Now that's around 6.5. You have seen me use many different diagnostic softwares and tools in the channel, but finally I am working together with Top Done right now. So they reached out and I agreed because, well, I actually think it's a good product. I have the other top down that I use. So they send me out this one to test. Diag Pro, just like that. This is top down on cable. So you just switch it on, connect the cables and plug it into the car. You can see there's many different adapters for older cars, chargers, well, basically everything you need. And also a very nice box to secure it. You can see it works, and we will use this to code in the injectors on the E92. It's one of the many features that you can do with this device. The only reason I accepted this device for testing, I honestly mean that top-down is a very user-friendly and good platform, good tool to use. Now we'll plug it in. Ignition on. I'm choosing BMW. These numbers right there. If you're looking for a good tool, user-friendly, and that gets all the jobs that you need done, works very well on BMW, there's a link in the description with a discount code, so all my viewers can get a discount on top-down products. It's gonna be loud. Should be good now, maybe.
Base and nothing with engine.
So now finally, after many hours, I managed to get it started. So as you saw, the car wasn't starting. And the only code I got is this one. And that code is for that sensor back there. That's the fuel pump control module. Because the older cars, they had a relay, fuel pump relay. But the newer cars, they have this little module. So I thought it was bad. Then I switched it out with the other E92, because they are exactly the same. Didn't help. And then when we was taking everything apart here, I had undone this ground. So then it wasn't having a ground and it couldn't send signal. So the fuel pump received 0 voltage. And then I've supplied 12 volts. I saw that the fuel pump was working, everything. So then I figured that out. I started the car, and then there was a massive metal on metal squeaking sound, some kind of scratching. It was super loud. I thought it sounded like the engine is just dead again. But the sound sounded like the flywheel, something with this thing. So I thought maybe I put the torque converter wrong, not in place. So I did the torque converter bolts. I started it with the torque converter off, because you can make a little gap in the gearbox. Didn't help, the sound was still there. Then I decided to switch out the starter. The starter that I had installed was the starter that I bought in Lithuania to check the compression for the other engine. So this is a used starter, not originally from this engine. So then I switched them out, and then the sound went away. So what I'm guessing is when I put 12 volts to it, it spins and it moves forward and back. But maybe I'm guessing somehow it was sticking so that it engages and it stays engaged. So this always hits against the flywheel and makes all that super crazy sound. So that's my theory. The garage is a super mess right now because I didn't have time to, because I just wanted to get it started, and because I just started it for 2 seconds and then it was okay. Then I switched it off. The torque converter, however, is still not connected. Now we are missing one lambda, so it's not gonna run nice. Maybe that's why it's running all over the place. Yep, now I need to put the bolts on the torque converter, but now I need to go to work, so I'll do that evening or tomorrow. So now it's time to add some coolant. This is ready mixed. Now the water pump is activated. On the ignition, you put the fan on lowest, heat on highest, and then you hold the pedal for maybe 20 seconds. So now to fully bleed the cooling system, we need to crack open the bleeding screws. I think one is here until coolant comes out, no bubbles. And there used to be one more somewhere. Maybe it doesn't have it. This guy is about to take a picture. That's crazy. And I give so little gas and it's like, it even pulls back. I'm afraid that the window is gonna fall out, so I can't really. Fresh gas. The E92.
E92.
Yeah.
You love cars? Yeah, I like cars. Oh,
En-
vet bildag.
Tack. So actually now I want to remove the oil cooler because well it's not connected right now anyway. There you go. This cooler is basically unusable because it's full of shavings. I haven't got the other one yet, so it's just gonna need to stay like this for now and I will put it on after that. By the way, I did mount a set of new tires. So now I want to put on the whole pack thingy. runs super good. So as we can see, the car runs perfect. Previously we saw that it was misfiring like crazy and not running even. And that was, I didn't have plugged in this kind of vacuum line into an exhaust manifold or into the flap on the exhaust manifold. And that's why it was running so bad. But now after replugging it in, as you can hear, it probably has this kind of pops and bangs. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I guess I kind of like it. It definitely stands out. But I guess we will need to get it removed because it's not going to pass with it. We can say that this is it for this video. We managed to get the car running, driving, and driving very good. So I would say it's a success. For now, we will leave the engine alone because now it's together, driving. So we'll leave it alone. And in the next episode, we will continue working on the bodywork. So we actually need to repaint the front, rear bumper, trunk, and both of the quarter panels in both sides. The doors are good, skirts are good, the roof I think is good, and maybe the bonnet. And also we need to clean the underbody because there's still some smoke marks left. So we need to clean that up and paint all of it. So that is what we will start doing in the next episode on this car. And I hope we can finish it soon and get it inspected and legal. By the way, I'm not sure if I ever told this, but this car does have M3 brakes all around, so calipers, discs and pads, and it also is lowered legally. Everything is in the system, so you can see how low it is. If you guys would like to support this build, I have Patreon, it's in the description. So if you would like to, please check it out. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.